Hello everyone, this is Phil Horn from Intechnica. We're going to present CloudFlex to you today, which is a system that we developed for working with one of our clients, a company called ASOS, one of the UK's largest online fashion retailers, where we were running performance tests for ASOS, and we were coming up against the eternal problems of finding the right test environments at the right time. So we started using the cloud for that purpose, and then it evolved into the development of the CloudFlex product. So just to give you an overview of what's going to happen in this webinar, I'm going to give you some background and some overview of CloudFlex, and my colleague Doug Greenall, who's the architect of CloudFlex, is going to give you a presentation. And then there will be time for questions and answers at the end. Okay, so this first slide aims to give an overview of some of the main challenges that anyone involved in testing and provisioning test environments faces. I'm sure all are familiar to everyone on the call today, in the conference today, and I'm sure you have a few of your own to add. I think the key one from the business, from a cost perspective, is that provisioning traditional physical infrastructure for test environments is an extremely expensive thing to do, costing either tens or hundreds of thousands of pounds. Once you've got your physical infrastructure, you then have the cost of maintenance, and also the fact that ultimately what you bought is growing increasingly obsolete over time. As is becoming increasingly widely known and recognized, the cloud offers an excellent, viable, cost-effective alternative to that. In that you can have a pay-as-you-go model. You only pay for what you use when you use it, and therefore no upfront capital outlay. But there are still a number of challenges faced in working with the cloud, not least the requirement for a reasonable level of technical ability to work directly in the cloud. And also, with that pay-as-you-go model, if usage isn't correctly managed, it can become an expensive alternative, and in many cases can be more expensive than the physical alternative. So what we decided to do was develop a user interface, a layer on top of the cloud. In this instance, we're talking about Amazon Web Services EC2 Cloud. In order to make using the cloud a really viable alternative for provisioning test and development environments. And we've got that usual triumvirate of benefits about products where we can make provisioning test environments quick, cheap, and easy. I'll just spend a bit of time looking at those boxes there. So in terms of speed, you can launch an environment in seconds. You can also template your environments and save them for starting up again at a later point, whether that's 6 months or a year down the line. And you can save an unlimited number of those environments. You can also instantly kill an environment. Cost-wise, there is no capital outlay for the cloud, and also the pricing model for CloudFlex, there is no upfront capital outlay. As I said before, the pay-as-you-go model, you only pay for environments as and when you use them, and there's no ongoing hosting or maintenance costs. And what we've done in developing CloudFlex is to truly make using and working with Amazon a click of a mouse. And the aim was really to put control of the environment in the hands of the testers themselves. So what is CloudFlex? It's an environment management tool. It harnesses all of the power of Amazon Web Services. Currently, it's very focused and targeted towards the test community. As I said before, making it so that testers themselves can have control over their environments. And as a result, it removes the gatekeepers, the system administrators that usually are the people that you have to turn to provision a test environment. And furthermore, we're increasingly seeing that companies that like the look and sound of CloudFlex for its abilities to remove barriers of adoption to cloud. Amazon themselves are very keen on our CloudFlex product in that it does drop those barriers to adoption. This may or may not be necessary, but I thought it would be useful to just give you a bit of an overview of what Amazon Web Services is. They do it very well themselves on their own website, hence the link. But in brief, they offer low-cost pay-as-you-go cloud computing, which offers the agility and instant elasticity of an infinite amount of cloud computing resource. It's open and flexible, it's infrastructure as a service. And it is secure, despite some urban myths about the security of Amazon. They are PCI compliant and various other levels of security. Okay, before I go on to the case study, I'm going to hand over to Doug, who's going to give a quick presentation of the product.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Right. Thanks for joining us this morning on the webinar. What I'd like to do is just kind of give you an overview of the products itself and how it works, and let you get familiar with the concepts and the things that we've built. So essentially, you can see this is the dashboard screen of CloudFlex. This basically is there just to give you an overview of the current state of your system. So, you know, the environments you've got running, the machines, the servers that you've actually got running in the cloud, and what have you. CloudFlex is completely cross-browser compatible. So you can see here I've got it running in Opera, but it supports Chrome, IE, Firefox, Safari. It really is platform independent. Now, before I actually show you it working, I should probably just explain some of the concepts and some of the ideas around it. So essentially, Amazon has, or EC2 runs off instances. And instances are essentially virtual servers in the cloud. Now, you can have different configuration of these with different compute resources. So you can have, you know, large multi-CPU, a lot of memory, so on. You can have much smaller instances, micro instances, and what have you. And what CloudFlex does is it brings those instances together into something we call environments. So an environment might consist of, say, 3 or 4 web servers, some database servers, a load balancer to handle with your DNS and things like that. And essentially, that's what we're building, and that's what we're managing with CloudFlex. So you can see here, if we just load the environments page, we've got some environments running there. I'll go through those in a minute and show you exactly what they consist of. You can have a quick look at the instances we've got running in EC2 at the moment. Load balancing, essentially, as you bring your servers up and down in the cloud, or you might want to add more web servers as your load grows, you can apply load balancers for your DNS, so you've got a single point of entry to your system. That will automatically distribute that load across your servers, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to, say, change your DNS settings, things like that. Elastic IPs, again, these are IP addresses which are yours, they will not change. And you can assign these to machines. So you've always got a tunnel through to your machines that say you don't have to change. If you've got, you know, pre-configurations on your machines, you don't have to worry about that. So we've got some templates, some environments here. And we've started these through templates. And a template is pretty much what it sounds. It's a blueprint for an environment. They're really, really easy to build. Okay, so everything's wizard-based in CloudFlex. Okay, so for example, we start with the template wizard. So enter a name for our template. Okay, and then we have in server groups, and server groups are the collection of instances that we're going to start up when the environment starts. So, for example, we click Add here. We can give our server group a name. So, for example, web servers. We can select how many of these web servers that we want in there. We can select the instance type. So they've obviously got different architectures. So these are all 64-bit, but we can also have 32-bit machines in EC2. These have all got different amount of compute resources, so say different amount of memory, or you can have a GPU configuration if you're doing high computational stuff. You can do all sorts of stuff here. There are obviously different costs associated with the different instance types. The machine image is essentially the configuration of that machine. So these are the main hard disks that you're going to load into that machine when we start it up. So you can see we've got Linux, we've got Windows Server 2008, we've got SQL Server, and various other ones that we've been using for our clients and what have you. You've got server types here, just to help you kind of categorize your servers and keep track of them. Key pairs, which is essentially the passwords that are associated with the machines, and security groups, which are things like the ports, which are pre-configured and open already for you if you want to run IIS or you want to run SQL Server or FTP. You need to have those ports open, and CloudFlex supports that and allows you to set this. So if we were to set up, say, 5 of these instances with this machine image, that would literally launch 5 servers in the cloud with that hard disk pre-configured. Okay, and to finish that, we just click Finish. Very simple. Saves our template. There we go. So here's one I created earlier. You can go back in whenever you like. You can add more server groups. You can change them around. It's not a drama. Okay. So we'll just start this up now. Okay. And again, it's all wizard based, really simple. And essentially what this will do is this will pre-configure our environment wizard with the template data. Okay. So give it a name. You can see our server groups are already configured in there. This is, let's say, one I set up earlier. We've got web servers, we've got data servers there. Okay, we can add more if we want at this point. And what we've also got the environment wizard is we can set up scheduled tasks. So, say for example, you're in a test team and you've got your test application all set up, and you know your test guys will be in at 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, you want to fire up your environment, make sure it's running for them. Well, that's fine. You can actually set up a startup task for every day. 8:30 in the morning, really simple. Just drag it in, starts today, save that, and you're away. You can then do a shutdown as well. So we can shut it down at, say, every day at, I don't know, 5:30 or 6 o'clock, wherever you want to. Really simple to use. Save that. You know that you're only going to be paying for the actual time on those instances that the people are in the office and using them. So it's really flexible, really easy to use. If we just click Finish now, and our environment should start up. And this is literally immediately firing up these machines in the cloud right now. Okay, so you can see your machine details here. State's just pending at the moment because it's just actually provisioning the instance, acquiring its IP address and all the rest of it, and just starting up the machine. Fortunately, I started one of these environments earlier from the same template. So if we launch this one, you can see exactly the same settings. This is already running. It's got a public DNS, so we can get to that immediately. So if we click here, that'll open it in a new browser window. There's no actual, I haven't run IIS on that machine, so you won't get a website. But if IIS was running, you'd get a website here. We can connect to this through remote desktop connection. So if we do this, and there you go, we're straight into that machine. Now this is a machine running in the cloud. that we started up in, say, a couple of minutes. It does take a couple of minutes just for the machines to spool up, which is why I've got it running already. That's your machine running there. Okay. We can remote onto that machine. We can upload our files to it. We can set it all up, and then we can image that machine. So we can create a new one from this. So webinar web server. Okay. Click image, and that creates a machine image for us straight away that we can now launch up in another server group. Really, really simple. We can terminate the instances individually. We can clone the instances if you wanted to add more web servers to them. We can assign load balancers on the fly. We can assign elastic IP addresses on the fly. Really, really simple. We can set more scheduled tasks if we wanted to. We can take backups, although we've disabled that for the trial. This is the trial version of CloudFlex we're using. So you can see it's really, really, really simple to use. As you can see, I just, when I took an image of that machine a second ago, if we click through here, we should be able to now select that machine image in here down at the bottom. So we can literally image a machine. Couple of minutes, you can set up another one, set a whole new template, launch as many environments as you like from that, really, really, really simply. And that's pretty much CloudFlex in a nutshell. So I'll hand you back to Phil.
Thought it would be useful to outline a case study for you of a current user of CloudFlex, a company called Nicer Today, who are one of the UK's major food wholesale and distribution businesses who turn over around £1.4 billion a year. They have 2 to 3 major projects in development and test, plus weekly support and performance improvements in testing. And they're currently using CloudFlex to provision environments for both performance and functional testing. It's a 5-server environment with load balancer, Oracle and SQL Server. And essentially the benefits that CloudFlex brings is relieving that congestion and conflict on the main test environment. It's like an overspill. And the difference, we provide performance testing services for NICE, and the difference in availability to access to testing environments has just been transformed. So return on investment. This chart over on the right-hand side does a good job of graphically illustrating the cost savings immediately apparent between cloud and physical infrastructure. And then what we're aiming to demonstrate with that third couple of bars is that with CloudFlex, because you have the management of your CloudFlex tool, you're not running it all of the time. You're literally scheduling the time in which your testers have environments running, and therefore the time that you're paying for your environments in the cloud. Okay, so this next slide aims to suggest a next step for anyone that feels this is a solution that could be of use to them. We have a 30-day free trial that we recommend people take to get a feel for it. You go in, use all of the functionality within CloudFlex, create environments, play around with it, and properly get a feel for the value it can bring to your business, and ultimately build a business case. You can probably achieve most of that within 15 to 30 minutes in the trial, but we give you a 30-day period in which to do that. We'll provide support to anyone that needs help or has questions during that trial period. And then once you've completed the trial and you want to move on to subscribe to the full product, then we've got 2 licensing options: the standard version at £99 a month and the professional version at £299 per month. What I don't think I have covered earlier in this conference call is any billing that any usage of Amazon, you get billed for directly by Amazon. What you pay Intechnica for is purely usage of the CloudFlex management tool. So the two costs are entirely separate. Okay, and that is all. That's our presentation. Now we're going to turn to any questions that anyone may have, I know that Alex has been sending out some messages asking you to send questions in the meantime. So, Alex, do we have any questions?
Difference between the Pro and standard versions.
Okay, the difference. What I will do actually is send everyone an overview of the difference between those two, rather than trawl through the differences now on the phone. Well, like I was saying, if you've got any questions that you want to ask after this call, then please do drop us an email or give us a call. Okay, thanks again. Bye-bye.